Hello and welcome to another episode with yours truly, Rosie the Realtor. So today I want to talk a little bit about picking your agent, a topic that I think all too often people don't really spend much time or research finding the realtor. And I can't tell you the worst thing for me is when I have a friend or relative call me, typically from out of area, maybe once or twice locally, saying things are going horribly wrong. Would you do this? Would you do that? And it's like, well, why didn't you call me to begin with? First of all, and second, where'd you find your realtor, right? Some of the common answers are, well, this is my neighbor used this person, or my friend just started in the business. And people, think about it. If you own a house, it is probably your largest asset. You probably spend more time researching a protein shake or where to get your haircut. And oftentimes it's, oh, well, this person's in real estate, I'll just go with them. What experience do they have? Have they ever been sold a house? Are they new? And I'm gonna tell you, going with a new agent doesn't necessarily mean that's a good or bad thing, because going with a seasoned agent, he may not be that good. So here's some questions to ask your realtor. One, how long have you been in the industry? And if they're new, do they have a strong mentor? It's okay to use a new agent. Let's just make sure they have the help and support. It's going to help you get to your end results, whether that's buying a house or selling a house. Also, are they the area specialist? So for me, I try to stay within Ventura County. Very rarely do I go outside of my county. And that's because, for example, if you're in the city of Ventura, they require a city report, a sewer report. Oxnard has a city report. Ohio also has a sewer report. If you're in LA, a Ventura agent might not know that in LA, you actually have to have the city come out and inspect the gas shutoff. Ever since the earthquake, I believe that's one of the requirements out there. So basically, different areas, different cities can have different requirements of stuff that may or may not be required in a transaction. And then there's, of course, the state guidelines. You know, is your realtor, one, understands this, and are they coming in and saying, oh, I noticed your hot water heater is not strapped. That's something we're going to want to take care of ahead of time. Otherwise, it's going to come up in the inspection. Very simple things. Another thing, for example, whether I'm meeting with a buyer or taking a listing, I always share my resume. Here you will find my experience. And I've been very fortunate to have quite an array of experience from new home sales where I won't say forced, because really I feel it was a privilege to learn things like feng shui and staging. These are all great things that I've learned that now, instead of telling my client, hey, let's hire a stager that could be very, very costly, I could go in there and give them a head start of what things you can do to make your house ready to sell. What's going to help your house show better, right? Because statistically speaking, an empty house, vacant, will sell for the least, then a cluttered house, and then a nicely staged house. And our goal, I would say, for every seller, of course, is always to get you the most for your money. On here, then, from after being in new home sales, which I absolutely loved, I got the opportunity to work in a financial firm, learning an abundance of things from investing, something that most people will never talk to you about, and it can be so, so important. I learned things like working with attorneys on divorce cases, estate settlements, which is why I specialize in divorce and probate, of course. I also have a few references, professional references, and as well as what have I done to give back into the community? You know, some people want to know that you care about your community, not just your pocketbook. And a new agent, or maybe even a seasoned agent, do they just care about their pocketbook? Or do they care about you? Yes, we all work for a living and we want money, but it shouldn't just be about the money. Personally, I think an agent should love and enjoy what they do and really care about taking care of their clients. I can't tell you how many times, whether I've been in a transaction with someone or other agents in the office, we have conversations about a deal going horribly wrong. And hypothetically, let's just say it had to go to court. What do you think a judge is going to look at? Probably the contract. What's written in the contract? So it's very important that your agent, again, whether new or seasoned, are really looking at the contract. So for example, whether I'm writing an offer or reviewing offers on a listing I have, am I really going through the whole purchase contract and looking for things where sometimes some agents will try to throw something in at the end. Some of them will have it at the beginning. Are they asking for silly things like make sure every single nail hole is patched up, or are they being reasonable? Are they asking, for a one-day turnaround on an answer when they're writing offers? There's just so much that goes into a contract. And again, should something go wrong, that's what's going to protect you. I can't tell you how often we hear of a deal going bad and a buyer losing their deposit because their agent didn't inform them of certain things, or maybe didn't understand it. And then this agent is telling them, oh, well, we'll just cancel and get your money back. And if most of the time your listing agents, if they're savvy and know what they're doing and have protected their clients and ensuring that they're protected, do they have the right to some or all of that deposit? Let me tell you, going to your buyer and saying you're not going to get your deposit back, and we might be talking 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. It's not a fun conversation to have, and knock on wood, thank God I haven't had to do that. So anyhow, I certainly don't mean to spook you over buying a house. Absolutely not. But there is things to be aware of. Okay, what else? So we talked about picking your agent, that listings. Okay, so when I take a listing, I don't just show up. I hear often of agents just showing up. Hey, I want to sell my house. Perfect. I'll be there in the next 30 minutes. Have they prepared? Have they really gotten ready to give you the best advice possible? Or are they just so excited to get there and get your home on the market and let's just see what happens? Is it going to sell? Are we going to have showings? No. Or do they have a marketing plan? Are they prepared? So for example, some of the stuff that goes into my listing presentation, I always include my resume, which I've shared with you. The next page will cover things about my firm. I'm very pleased and excited to say I'm with the firm that has the largest market share here in Ventura County. There's a lot of benefit to that and support. I also include a market summary. So every time I take a listing, I will look up to see what exactly is happening in that zip code, not just in the state and the country, or what is the news saying, but what specifically is happening in your zip code. Because even within Ventura County, we have a lot of people that really want to be in the 93003 zip code, right? Everybody wants to be in the center of town, around all the activity. But then you have people that maybe they want to be in the 93004 zip code, where things are a little slower, you have more room to breathe, and not as much traffic, right? So that's another report I include. It's important to know what specifically is happening in your area. How fast are the house selling? Do we have a 1 month, a 2, a 3 month inventory? A lot of Ventura has been right around a month. That's not a lot of inventory, making it still a seller's market. And are things selling above or under asking? You might want to know that if you list your house here, are you going to get a little bit more or less? Important. The next section, I do the comparable market analysis, where I specifically look up listings that have sold, that are active or under contract in your neighborhood. Because, for example, what if you live here in a normal neighborhood and right next to it is an affordable housing tract where homes have a restriction on what they could sell for? And typically that's going to be less because it's an affordable or low income project. And out of area agents that maybe just ran comps around a half-mile radius may not know that's an affordable tract and wonder, why are these homes selling for here and you're here? And that's going to bring your price down. Where an area expert's going to know, oh, these are not good comps because it's an affordable or low income tract, and your tract are selling for this. And I'm sure as a seller, you want to get this, right? That's the ultimate goal. So I include that. Of course, I always include a net sheet, because ultimately there are only two numbers a seller really wants to look at is, what am I selling it for and what am I getting in my pocket? And let me share with you something that, oh my gosh, drives me absolutely bonkers crazy, is when somebody goes, I got a cash offer. I'm so excited. I'm getting cash. Well, guess what? You may have heard of this thing called escrow. Escrow is the third party mutual that handles the transaction and works in the middle between the buyer's agent and seller's agent. So no matter how the buyer brings the money to escrow, whether they get a loan, whether they pay cash, whether they borrowed some money, however the buyer brings the money to escrow, it doesn't matter as far as the seller is concerned, because after escrow has paid off all your debts, escrow fees, title fees, whatever fees, maybe even a cup of joe, whatever is left over, the seller gets in cash into their account. It does not matter how the buyer brings the money. So don't get too excited. Is it exciting? Sure, but don't get too excited, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard of, oh, this investor offered an all cash, we could close in a week, and as soon as their offer is accepted, you know what? Suddenly they decide, I don't want to use my cash, I'm going to get a loan. Yes, it happens. Another reason why you need to have an agent that is strong and understands the contract. An agent, so for example, just last weekend we had 5 offers on a listing that was went active last weekend. I had 5 offers, and I touched base with every single one of those lenders. So yes, the buyer's agent may have filled out their offer, made it look all good, and oh, I'm going to remove the appraisal contingency. Oh, how exciting! I could have been so excited that they already removed the contingency. But wait, if it doesn't appraise, yes, they've lost that right. If it doesn't appraise and they don't have the funds to come up with the difference, would they qualify for the loan? Nope. That answer is a big no. So I want to see if they are removing the appraisal contingency. Are they showing proof of funds where if it didn't appraise, can they come up with the difference? Otherwise, removing the appraisal means nothing. Nothing? Yeah, nothing, pretty much. So unless they're removing the loan and the appraisal contingency and coming in with all cash, there's so many factors where, again, these agents will try to, oh, I'm going to make my offer look better and I'm going to make it look stronger by doing this. But do they still have another way of getting out and not having to perform their buyer seller duties? It can cause you a headache or two. All right. So thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I certainly did not mean to spook you just before Halloween, but it is important that you know what you're getting yourself into, that you're doing your homework, interviewing agents, and it's okay to only interview one. You know, if you told a friend that is familiar with realtors and says, I highly recommend this person, she's amazing, she communicated, she kept me in the loop, was able to explain things, that alone, if an agent can't explain a contract or certain things to you, that alone should be a red flag. So hopefully you have found this helpful, and especially for those friends of mine that are out of the area, out of state, that don't get to use me here locally. I hope it has helped. I hope that you take the time to interview an agent and know that they're prepared and ready to help you with your largest asset versus just, hey, well, you look like a nice person. It's okay to be nice, but you want a strong agent that's going to get the deal done. So if you know anybody looking to buy or sell, I'd love the opportunity to help you and your friends. And you can contact me directly on my cell phone at 805-432-4114. Again, 805-432-4114. I hope you found this information helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you.